With the establishment back in town under a Biden presidency, it is a good time to take a look at what the best possible investments are going to be with the coming intended consequences of increased regulations, inflation, and war. With that said, here are my top 10 investments you can make for 2021. So to kick us off at number 10, Wartime Investment like Raytheon Technologies and Lockheed Martin seem like to be a good choice. It is no secret that Biden's Secretary of State pick, Anthony Blinken, is very vocal on his pro-war rhetoric with Russia. We remember back when the Hillary Clinton emails were leaked, and we remember her plans to go to war with Russia, and it appears these plans will be back on the table with the establishment back in control. We can expect possible wars with Venezuela, Russia, Iran, and Yemen, and even Syria too. This is to further establish a globalized central banking system, and if these countries do not comply, we will simply send our troops, rockets, planes, tanks, and bombs to persuade them otherwise. With that said, sonic speed warfare may be the future, and Lockheed Martin and Raytheon Technologies are currently leading the way. Not only that, but these will be a great hedge for your portfolio because if other assets you own tank, these stocks will surely skyrocket, which will protect you from potential losses. Now, moving on to number 9 is oil and big oil companies. Now, hear me out on this. I know you're thinking that these increased regulations from Biden will hurt the oil companies, but it's actually going to help them. Think of it as a sleight of hand that the general public usually fall for. The truth is, these regulations have been lobbied by the big oil companies themselves. They want to be regulated, and you know why? Because these regulations will offer the perfect excuse to raise prices, it will destroy their smaller competition because they won't be able to afford the new regulations, and it will make the masses think that everything will be all right. Therefore, the rise of oil will become a big shock to many people, and the middle class and poor will only figure out this until it's too late. So I highly recommend for people to take advantage of this now and invest into oil companies before gasoline reaches $6 a gallon nationwide. Don't wait until it happens. Do it before it happens. All right, and moving on to number 8, we got land and real estate. And no, it's not because interest rates will get higher in a few years, because they won't. It is actually because of the massive inflation and stagflation that is coming soon. You see, land is a scarce resource, and there's only so much of it that can exist because the earth is finite. When inflation skyrockets, land and real estate would always be a great resource because it is your own workable and livable property. Real estate also offers equity as a backup as well in case if you need cash in the form of leverage. Not only that, but if you could get a home outside of the city, perhaps in the suburbs or rural area, that would be even better actually, because our cities will only get more degenerate over time, and many people are now looking to move out of the cities as quickly as possible. This would lead to an even bigger surge into real estate prices as people run away from the horrors that is the city. Now, number 7 may be a shock to you all, but it is Coca-Cola. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would you recommend Coca-Cola when the dollar is going to collapse in on itself? This is because of Coca-Cola's biggest strength, globalization. Coke owns 20% of the cold beverage market globally within developed countries. They aren't just found in the USA. You could find Coca-Cola in Japan, the UK, Brazil, throughout all of Europe. And if the United States ever collapses, they can always move headquarters to a country with a more stable currency if needed. This is what gives them an edge over Pepsi, which is mainly located in the United States. Not only that, but they have the strongest brandings ever seen in the food and drink business. Coca-Cola is the drink of the Olympics. Coca-Cola is the drink of the theaters. Coca-Cola is the drink of enjoyment. Despite the domestic currency fears, I see Coca-Cola being a strong investment option for the year 2021. Number 6 is going to have to be big retailers that promote the $15 minimum wage, like Walmart and Target. Walmart and Target and even Amazon have been lobbying for a $15 minimum wage for a while now. And the truth is, these companies want a $15 minimum wage. This is another verbal sleight of hand disguised by good intentions, but is actually designed to hurt people more than it helps. These big businesses want a $15 minimum wage because they can't afford it, while their smaller competition like Kroger, mom and pop shops, and others will go out of business. This will allow these big businesses gain even more power and have a bigger hand on the retail scene. Because of this, investing into Walmart, Target, and Amazon could be a very strong move right now, while the $15 minimum wage wipes out smaller businesses. All right, we are now heading into the top 5 investments for 2021. And to kick us off, it will be the poor man's gold, silver. As the dollar continues to get devalued and as creditors continue to flee from the USD into higher yielding bonds, silver can potentially be a very, very strong pick for 2021 if you do not have the money for gold. If you're looking to preserve your wealth, silver could be a good option for you. For number 4, it is going to be emerging markets and foreign stocks. In the past, America used to be the world's largest creditor nation, and now America is the world's largest debtor nation because of the massive amounts of debt, taxes, regulations, and money printing. Many investors are now turning away from America as the country begins to degrade. A lot of foreign stocks are also fairly valued as well and not just one big nasty bubble. I would also like to give a shout out to Euro Pacific Capital. They have a lot of great portfolio managers over there in terms for emerging markets and gold hedges. If you're interested in diversifying your portfolio out of American stocks and into emerging markets, I believe that Euro Pacific Capital is the fund to invest in. Number 3 may be a surprise to you all, but it is farming equipment. Because America is no longer going to be energy dependent, especially with the shutting down of the Keystone Pipeline, and plus an incoming $15 minimum wage and massive inflation from stimulus, food prices are set to explode to not only record highs, but to nearly unaffordable highs. For the prices will become nearly unaffordable for a majority of Americans. I've already took the time to learn how to plant and grow food, and I recommend you guys do it too. Remember, this is no secret on what the future is going to be. And like I said in the past, there are going to be winners and losers from the great wealth transfer from the poor and middle class to the rich and to those who prepared for it. To protect yourself from the inflation of life's greatest expense, I recommend you to start looking into farming equipment and farming guides. I personally like organic soil with pea shoots, sunflower microgreens, and spinach because they are easy to grow indoors and very nutritious. For protein, I recommend building a chicken coop and buying female chickens. You will get daily eggs for free, and you can always kill a chicken if you're really hungry. Chickens are not that expensive too, and they nearly eat everything. A chicken coop should pay for itself in no time. Cucumbers and zucchini are also very easy to grow if you have land for an outside farm, plus they grow quickly once the plant starts producing. And if you're looking for grains in your diet, I recommend looking into millet. This is because millet grows easily in poor soil, and nearly anyone should be able to grow it. Corn and rice also works if you live in warmer areas, and buckwheat can also be a good option as well. Number 2 is fairly obvious. It is big tech companies like Google, Twitter, Facebook, Apple, and I'll even consider Amazon as a tech company as well. This is because all these companies had a coordinated effort on ensuring a blue wave will happen, and this is because they know Democrats would be very heavy on regulations. And because these companies helped out the Democrats so much, they will get very favorable regulations while their competition will be forcibly shut down, like Parler, for example. All these companies had a coordinated effort to take down one of their competitors, and they will face no consequences because they helped out the Democrats so much. And while the oppression of millions of Americans may be scary, you might as well get a quarterly dividend check from it. The ends might as well justify the means in times like this. All right, and we're finally at number 1. Anyone who knows me personally should know what will take the number 1 spot, and that is gold and gold mining companies. I believe that eventually that the price in gold when compared to US dollars will far outweigh the stock market priced in dollars once as stagflation takes full effect. Sure, stock prices will remain high due to inflation, but your purchasing power will actually drop. Gold is the 100% safe and secure way to protect your purchasing power and your wealth once the dollar collapses. If you do not want to invest in physical gold, the next best option is investing into gold mining companies with low amounts of debt. This is because the higher the price of gold is, the more money the gold miners will make as well. Usually, the price of gold mining stocks follow the price of gold as well. Personally, I suggest companies like Newmont, Barrick Gold, and Yamana Gold. All right, and that wraps up my list of the top 10 investments you can make for 2021. If you enjoyed this video and if you learned something, please leave a like and comment below and subscribe. Thank you.